that song.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 1151. Hello, it is Mike Matthews broadcasting from Cafe Anyway, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, Mont. Today, we hear from Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, John Deere the Engineer, plus the return of the much-loved segment called WOW SCHATZ WOW, where we look at an interesting invention that might be coming
Mike's Daily Podcast
to your house soon. Remember Vanessa Carlton, that young girl that sang "Making My Way Downtown"?
Mike's Daily Podcast.
If I could walk into the sky and you'd, 'cause I'd been. I can't remember the song now. She was married to the guy she was dating the lead singer from Third Eye Blind. Hey, wait, Third Eye Blind.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
It's Friday, I'm a little crazy. Hey, I saw Beauty and the Beast last night, so I got home late.
Mike's
And then I tried to
Daily
wake up at 4 a.m.
Podcast.
Here's what happened. I woke up at 3:30. Okay, I'm really starting to sound like this guy.
Managing the accounts of every single client.
Maybe not that guy. That guy was too serious. I really have a tough time waking up at 4 a.m. I do it all week long. I might be able to sleep in a little bit tomorrow, although a very lovely lady has asked me to go dog walking with her. So should I do that? I think I should. Woo! I might. But yeah, I woke up at 3:30. My dog woke me up. Basil the boxer, as you know him well. And it was like, no, wait, I got a half hour left. I'm going to go back to sleep. And, you know, sometimes you can just go back to sleep right away. Your brain's just already in that mode. Go back to sleep, go back to sleep, go back to sleep. So I was about to go back to sleep, but then my freaking neighbor who lives behind me, and you should love your neighbor as yourself, which is something I learned from Beauty and the Beast put on by my local church last night. Not just a little church production. This thing was full blown. This could have been like a Broadway production. It was huge. Okay, maybe not as big as a Broadway production, but huge. Oh, look who just walked in.
Hello, my friends. This is Chely Shoehart, gift shop supervisor. I love Beauty and the Beast. It's such a beautiful movie. And the guy at the end turns into a really hot guy at the end.
You mean the Beast turns into a hot guy at the end?
That's what I mean, Mike Matthews. It's early.
That's what I'm trying to say. It's really early. I woke up at 3:30. I try to go back to sleep. The dog's barking. My neighbor behind me, and I'm like, I need to put earplugs in, or I'm not going to be able to go back to sleep. So I put the earplugs back in. Well, of course, now I can't hear the alarm when it goes off at 4 a.m. I finally wake up at 4:22, and I'm like really late, so I got to work a little late. I have to apologize. But it was... No, I'm not going to apologize. It was the neighbor behind me's fault. He should apologize, him and his loud damn dog. Yeah! Look who else just walked in. Hello, Mike, it's Floyd the Floorman! And this is John Deere, the engineer. Tell us more about the wonderful Broadway production play you saw last night. Well, I have to tell you that there were like two ushers that I got there a little late. I thought, oh, it's a little local church putting on a play. There'll be lots of parking. So I pull into the parking lot. It is completely packed. Parking in the Bay Area. It's horrible. But usually, see, this church has a coffee place. And I've gone to the coffee place many times, and the parking there is fine, you know, during the week, middle of the day type thing, when you're going to get a little coffee pick-me-up. But going for like their big play, I guess their whole parking lot fills up, and I couldn't find any parking. So I get in there about 5 minutes after the play has begun. So they tell me, you got to go into the balcony. So I go into the balcony. These lovely, lovely ushers, they're so pretty. They sit me down, and then I'm like, maybe I should go to this church. My friend Robert Owen Welsh, who never does the segment anymore, Welsh on the World. He always is bugging me. Mike, you need to go. Well, he got fixed up with someone and his beautiful wife, Christy, through like one of the preachers there. This preacher comes out at the end of the play last night after Beauty and the Beast. After you've seen this big musical production, the voices sounded so beautiful. The harmonies and everything. The production, stage production quality was so good. And then he comes out at the end and says, you know, that's something we need to learn about, and kind of try to weave the story of Beauty and the Beast into loving Jesus Christ as your Savior. So, but he brought up, I've seen him do this thing he does where, you know, he gets to know everyone. He's very personable. And when he's up there preaching, he brings up people's stories. I wonder if he gets, you know, an okay from that person beforehand. Hey, you can talk about my situation. I've seen him like go, yeah, and Phil, he has a drug problem, but we helped him out. I'm like, whoa, maybe I don't want to be your friend if you're going to call me out and talk about it and disclose. Can we fill out a non-disclosure form before you talk to me? So he did that last night after the play, but whatever. Really nice people there. Maybe if I went to that church, I wouldn't be single. I don't know. But hey, here's the fact of the matter. This guy sounds awesome.
If I'm burning gas at a faster rate than, you know, the distance I'm going to run out of gas.
That's very astute. Let's get together and call ourselves an institute. That guy that we just heard a little bit of, he was talking about how his son took a baby moon, which is where you go on one last trip with your wife before you have your first baby. That's kind of sad, isn't it? It's smart, but it's sad. I don't know. And then you're traveling with her and she's pregnant and maybe she doesn't want to travel. Maybe she'd like to stay at home because she's going to be feeling all kinds of weird things and wants to stay and not be, because when you're traveling, you're already in a completely annoyed state because, well, for example, planes are delayed constantly, like lately. Thank you, Delta. Thank you, Southwest. The only two airlines I use, by the way, and they're delayed constantly because of little computer snafus. European cruise lines, by the way, are doing not so well, which leads us to the podcast picture.
And here's today's podcast picture.
People afraid of going to Europe because of terrorism. I was last in Europe 7 years ago. I went to Germany to see my relatives. On Katrine, who you hear at the beginning of the show, go Mike's Daily Podcast. And we were in the Frankfurt area. That's actually Rudesheim, which was, I think, about a half-hour drive from the Worms, where my uncle lives. There's a town called Worms. They call it Worms, though. And it's a very famous town. Martin Luther nailed the note to the front of the door of the Catholic Church with his edict there. Rudesheim is a wonderful little town with the winery and everything. You can see the picture there, and the Rhine. That's the Rhine River you see right there. It's I need to go back. I miss my relatives so much. But yeah, so this would be a good time for me to go back since apparently the airlines want you to. Nobody's going, so they're slashing fares, I would suspect. But Beauty and the Beast was fantastic. The women there are beautiful. If you listen to this podcast a lot, it starts to sound like Mike discovers where beautiful women are and then tells you where they are. I found them in churches and I found them in malls. Isn't that astute? Let's get together and call ourselves an institute. Today, we bring you the segment WOW SCHATZ WOW, but first, you can catch all the past WOW SCHATZ WOWs and the WOW That's Wild Files and the Matthews News and News Random and all the other segments I do, the interviews with interesting people and musicians. All the past interviews there at mikesdailypodcast.com and the past podcast pictures. And if you'd like to help us out and support the show, if you do any shopping on Amazon, go through that link to the Amazon Rainforest or Amazon.com, which, actually, we're going to talk about a little bit about that company in the WOW SCHATZ WOW segment. But they actually will help us out if you shop through the Mike'sDailyPodcast.com website. It doesn't change the way you shop. So go to Mike'sDailyPodcast.com and click on the Amazon link before you do any Amazon shopping, is what I'm trying to say. And there's also a PayPal if you'd like to donate and help out. You'll get a special greeting from all the Cafe Anyway characters, like Floyd the Floorman, and John Deere the Engineer, and Chely Shoehart. You guys were all supposed to say something while I was introducing you.
Sorry, Mike Matthews.
Yeah, Mike, that's a real bummer that we missed your cue. Yes, Mike, whatever he just said. Wonderful. Wow, Schatz, wow.
Wow, Schatz, wow.
So probably the next man to become the richest man in all the world, he's probably already the richest man. Is he? I don't know. I don't keep track of these things. But he has a wonderful name that also sounds like a cologne. Elon Musk. Oh, wait a minute. He's not the head of... Jeff Bezos is the head of Amazon. Okay, never mind what I was saying earlier. Whether he intended to or not, Solar City Corp chairman Elon Musk dropped a bomb on investors during this week's earnings conference call. Solar City, which, by the way, I do not like Solar City's methods of trying to sell you their stuff. If they're in a Home Depot and they set up a little table there, they get these really nice young people that are like, hey, do you have solar on your roof? And you're like, no. And they're like, oh, well, let me tell you about it. Oh, can you like give me a brochure or something? No, you have to sign in and give us all your information, your email, your whole social security, everything. Before we give you any information, you have to give us everything that you have. No, I just wanted a little brochure. No, go away. Solar City is going to get into the business of solar roofs. Not just solar panels, but roofs themselves. Here's what Elon said directly. This according to the Motley Fool and Fool.com. I just like to emphasize, I think this is really a fundamental part of achieving a differentiated product strategy where you have it's not a beautiful roof, that is a solar roof. It's not a thing on a roof. It is the roof. The roof is on fire. We don't need no water. Let that thing burn. It's Friday. Maybe you're going to dance to that song. And maybe it's still the 80s. I don't know. But Elon Musk didn't reveal what the solar roof would be, only that it would be an integrated roof product. This would be sold to builders of new homes as well as for roof replacements. The product would focus on selling to installers of the 5 million new roofs put in each year in the U.S. What exactly that means is a bit of a mystery. Solar City's Solivo technology is built with silicon, which is fairly fragile and isn't the kind of roof product people can be walking on. That's the problem with my roof. I've got one of these roofs the former owner put up, and you cannot walk on it. It will damage it very badly if you do. And I've had to walk on it because I had a bee problem. Bees infested my chimney 3 years ago now, shortly around the time of my divorce. So it was sort of like adding salt to the wounds. And then I had bees in my chimney, which I found out was a bad thing. Go back to the podcast 3 years ago. I talk all about it. Yes, this podcast has been around a long time if you have not heard this show before. The entire system would have to be redesigned with solar cells sitting on top of a sturdier substrate, and that could bring up even more problems than are worth dealing with. The Solar City isn't the first company to think of integrating solar into a roof. Energy conservation devices, which filed for bankruptcy in 2012, or Dow Chemicals' powerhouse solar shingle, shut down earlier this year, was a highly hyped solar shingle products. These were more shingle replacements that attempted to rethink the roof itself, but they show how tough the industry has been. I can't read now. But you can find all that. Motley Fool also does a radio show, actually, that one of the radio stations I work for carries. Not to give them a free plug, but I think I just did. What shouldn't be overlooked is the challenge Solar City could have financing and ensuring a new solar roof design. Financing is a key to any solar energy system, and banks or other investors want a bankable product before they're willing to invest in it. That means a history of proven energy production and reliability. The system can't break when a hailstorm comes, though, or cause a leak that ruins someone's living room. Getting to the bankable point took the solar industry many years, so don't think investors will rush out to finance a new product just because it comes from Solar City. And in that, it's Elon Musk, who goes into space and comes up with... he's the Tesla guy, right? Yeah, so... That's interesting. As we go outside a cafe anyway, we're bringing Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcaster Valley. I miss Fat Al Roker as I watch the Olympics. It's all NBC. We have all our TVs at work set to NBC because of the Olympics. Is that even Al Roker? I don't even recognize him anymore if it is. But I used to enjoy him when he'd show up on Conan. Or was it Letterman? I think I'm done. Real quick, old Oakland, the Oakland Bridge, the old one, is about to be gone, so go out and see it before it's completely taken down. They say it's going to be gone in about a week. And if I see Allison Schmidt one more time on television pertaining to the Olympics,